Hi, and thanks for joining us for this edition of Becoming God's Woman of Destiny. I'm Doreen Leckler. Now, in our last two video learning lessons, I laid out for you two of the three factors that impact your ability to unleash more of your God-given potential in any area of your life. And today, we're going to wrap up by talking about the third factor. It has to do with your style of change, how you initiate or go about creating change. Now, it's interesting. Research tells us that most people fear change. They just don't like it. It's uncomfortable to make and unwelcome when it arrives, even when the change promises to be better for them. And one of the reasons why change is so hard is that most people go about initiating change the wrong way. In fact, I'm going to share with you today three styles of change, and perhaps you'll notice yourself in one of them. One of the ways in which people go about making change is this. Let's say this is the change that we're trying to make. They get on this side of change, and with all of their conscious level willpower, focus, attention, tenacity, perseverance, they push and push and push. Now, am I getting movement as I'm pushing? Sure, right? But what happens when I stop pushing? The movement stops. This style, this type of initiating change is what's known as muscle management, or what I would call command and control. Oftentimes, we're putting our objectives, our goals on a have-to basis. We're telling ourselves, I have to lose weight. You better pick up your room. We must finish this project. And through coercive and restrictive types of motivation, we're trying to get ourselves to do things by pushing ourselves. And you can get a level of change. The problem is it's not sustainable long term, because the minute you stop pushing, you always go back to the person you know yourself to be. That's why diets don't work. What happens with diets oftentimes is we tell ourselves, all right, I have to go on a diet. I have to lose weight. I'm really going to try harder this time. And we push ourselves until we get tired or burned out or sick or have to go out of town or company comes, and then we stop pushing. And the minute we stop pushing, we always go back to the person we know ourselves to be, to the food that we like to eat, and to the exercise habits that we already had previously, which oftentimes isn't much. So, pushing. Can you get change? A little bit. Can you sustain it long term? No. So, I work with a lot of companies and organizations all across the country. And oftentimes I see them doing this. Let's say this is the change. They get on this side of the change. And instead of pushing, they dangle carrots. They try to incentivize their people. I work with a lot of real estate, automotive sales, insurance, or the sales arms of large organizations, manufacturing, and so on. And oftentimes they'll do contests to try to get their people to perform at a higher level. Now, does it work? Yes. But what happens when the contest ends? Do people still maintain that same level of high performance? No. They always go back to the people they know themselves to be. Sometimes those of us parent that way. We bribe our kids into good behavior, or getting their homework done, or cleaning up their room. And when you bribe them, can you get them to do it? Sure, if they like the bribe. I know it works for my son. But what happens when they've received that thing that they wanted? Do they maintain and sustain that high level of performance? No. We always go back to the person we know ourselves to be. These two styles of change, either pushing or trying to dangle carrots with incentives, they're external means of motivating people. And you can't sustain performance with external means. So the most effective way to create change within yourself or your kids or the people that you manage and lead is to create internal motivation. Internal motivation. Now, in the weeks to come, in the months to come, I'm going to lay out for you a sequential steps for how to create that internal motivation and drive so that change just comes quickly and naturally. And you'll see that what will happen is, as you, to the extent that you use this information, it will propel you deep into your destiny so that you can live the life that God created for you. Okay, all for now, but lots to think of. How do you initiate change in your life? I'll see you soon.